I am incredibly lucky to call Gannon Made Me, the #1 disc golfer in the world, a friend of mine. And so I reached out to him the other day, catching up a little bit, and just had some questions about, hey, what are some things that you think I should do to get to that top level that I could? And one of them, he said, was a type of round that no one really ever plays, or he doesn't know of a lot of them, which is a 1-disc round. What's kind of the reasoning for like 1-disc rounds in your opinion? And I thought the perfect disc to do that with today would be the finish line era. Joined Team Finish Line earlier this year, and part of my contract is having to throw 2 of their molds. I probably won't wear this hat this whole time because it's 24 degrees out and the sun is not out. But I have a tournament coming up this Saturday. 1 round, 18 holes at Bird's Nest, which is a pretty fun course, and they're playing a kind of mixed layout. So I want to practice it today just with 1 disc, and obviously this is 2, but this is a 10-speed that's straight, that fits in between a Roman and a Sphinx. The Sphinx was my Tour Series disc last year. The Roman was my favorite Infinite disc last year, and it's kind of like a flip up but straight 10-speed. I have this in the glow plastic, which has my stamp on it, and then I just have this forged one, which is their star-like plastic. So I'm gonna throw the Radiant one as my first, but I brought this out because I wanted to see if I would like it more. It's a little stiffer in this really cold, but 485, so first shot out the car, we're just gonna rip. We gotta move pretty fast today, but I want to learn this disc really well. A round like this, where I'm playing every hole from I think 200 feet all the way up to like 550 feet with just 1 disc, is gonna be very helpful in me figuring this out, especially as it's a new disc to my bag, and I think I'll end up throwing it a lot this year. Especially if it flies like that. You're not gonna be able to see that. I can't even see it right now, but it is beautiful in this headwind. Get there. Okay, a little short. Was definitely expecting that because there's a pretty brisk, maybe 8 to 12 mile an hour headwind. Whew, try this. Okay, that's starting out as straight, if not a little more overstable. That's kind of surprising to me. That one was a little more nose up. Where'd it go? Oh no! Where's the other glove? Couldn't find the glove because it was right here the whole time. But I was able to change the mic. Wow, my eyes are watering. It is very cold, but I do think this will still be a good round as long as I basically don't stop moving. I don't have any goals for score today. It's basically just about learning the discs. I think I shot 5 down with all the Innova Tour series. So for the sake of the video, we'll say I'm trying to shoot 6 down just for fun. And luckily that score doesn't really put anything in my head because I know like I'm playing with a full bag come this weekend, and I will also warm up. And luckily it's gonna be sunny and like 35, which is somehow so much better than 23. Some good advertising right there, Frisbee. Especially with getting out here and feeling how stiff this is in this cold, and that not being too gummy when it gets warm out. I'm probably just gonna commit to the Radiant for this round so that one, obviously it's like a true 1 shot, like Gannon said, and I'm pretty sure that's the one I'll be bagging for this weekend. Stay up. But I also think this layout we'll be playing this weekend is so good. I think it's probably the best layout at Bird's Nest. So shout out to, I think, someone from Colorado School of the Mines, because it's a fundraiser 1 round C tier. And it's super, super good. All right, par through 1. I like the way that thing flew in that headwind. Didn't throw it obviously as hard as I could as I warm up. But hole 2 is a nice shorty. So we'll see how it flies on a left to right wind assisted forehand. We're not going to all white tops today, but for these first 2 we are. I think I realized I don't quite hate the cold. I don't like it, but I really hate playing in the snow. Not too much wind right now. It's only about 260. So I'm gonna try to go flat over this tree. Probably not gonna turn too much because my forehand is not the biggest. Perfect. As long as it gets there, it might be short. Very short, wow. Shape was exactly right, just 45 feet short. Hole 3, right about 306. Pretty uphill though, so probably place close to 350 to 360. Oh, this is getting cold. I just tried to do that to warm it up. That's pretty silly. I could throw just a big hyzer, but still warming up. I want to see how this flies. If I throw it flat, but about 20 feet to the right of the basket, kind of where those people are, is my aim point with the flat shot. Okay, so it does turn a bit. I was a little right of my aim point, but that's the perfect shot. Okay, wow, that was really good glide, really smooth shot. Going to the 480 position, right down there. The wind on hole 1 was ahead, right to left. So now it's mostly just the right to left. Because the wind's pushing this way, if you get the disc on anhyzer, now the wind is kind of coming on top and pushing the nose down, so it'll become even more understable. But if you get on a hyzer, once the hyzer out, so you gotta find that balance of throwing it so that it can drift against it, but still has enough stability to get back to the left. That being said, at this distance, with this thing being a 10 speed, I might be able to just throw a really driven hyzer that flips up, but the wind is pushing it. So I might not even need to get it too flat. I think I just don't want it, I don't want to see it turn at all. I'd like to keep it on hyzer or flat. Just like that. Don't turn. Oh, wow, that's so straight. I really like that. I thought the wind would help him more. Wow, okay, that's good to know. Even in that crosswind, threw it on slight hyzer, popped up to flat, and just rode. Thought I gave it the right width, but the other problem with the crosswind is the more you aim into the crosswind, the more it becomes a headwind, because obviously you're moving your aim point. I'm now not aiming straight at the basket. Now I'm aiming this way, so I probably needed a little more hyzer to account for that. If there's more cross than there is head or tailwind, it makes it so much more difficult. It's really where these rounds will come in handy. And I'll probably end up doing them with most, if not all, the discs that go into my bag this year, because they happen fast. Like, I'll be able to get through this round in less than an hour, even with talking to the camera. Well, depending on how much I like to yap. And if you're new here, subscribe. But also, I'm a yapper, so be prepared for what you're in for. I think this type of round, it's almost like the best player in the world is onto something. Let's see if I can give him a call during this round, see what he has to say. Hey dude, you have time for a quick 2 or 3 minutes at some point in the next hour for a video? I'm filming a 1-disc round like you suggested, and just want to get your thoughts on it. This was a little shorter than I expected. And it is something I've noticed about these Radiant Eras so far, is they don't like really cut through the wind. So if there's a headwind, it stops them up a decent bit. But I don't know, like, I'm not throwing the hardest right now. Come on. Oh, a little in front of it. Shorty coming up. Try the forehand again. Hole 5, they're playing 255 to the short. See where the wind's going? A little that way. That's kind of a stupid hack when it's below freezing out. That's nice. Okay, that felt so good. Whew. Yep, perfect. Easy hyzer. I really like that shot. Next hole, bad wind, but it's par 4, so hopefully we can drain that one. We're going to the par 4 white top basket, 528 down there. Head cross, similar winds to a couple holes ago when I slightly misread it, thought it was more right to left. So on this one, it's hard because hyzer flips in a slight right to left might not even give the biggest distance. It's hard to get a really big distance shot in a head right to left, in my opinion, unless you have something pretty overstable. So we'll just try to see what this looks like on a distance line, big and hyzer. Okay. Okay, I didn't even throw that on as much anhyzer as I was initially thinking. Wound up throwing a kind of a control Danny because I thought that would happen. Just tough in that wind. Definitely not the disc for that shot, but I wanted to see how it would respond. It'll kind of gently turn over into the ground. Not aggressively, didn't like really burn. A good wind to test it on the next hole, which is a hole that I would very highly debate throwing it because this goes onto that mound. And that mound, like, you can spike it into it with a driver, but setting something a little slower down at the basket instead of like trusting a check skip on a driver might be the play. So it's about 430, 425-ish, and we'll have a slight tail left to right. So not a bad win for it. So this turned over right at about 380-ish feet. So we have 150 in. Should be good. Oh, it's a little short. All right, definitely want to get that one, but no harm, no foul. We're just learning this bad boy. Mostly tailwind here. I don't even necessarily think anhyzer's the play, because I think the disc likes being thrown flat to hyzer, not quite as much anhyzer, which is good to realize, and that's why I have Romans, you know? We'll throw this one flat, outright, and the tailwind should help to stable it up, but I think it's gonna turn a bit since we're throwing it 430 feet. This would be a good shot. Get stable. Okay. I think it got down there and it turned. I think I just threw it a little too low. I've really been enjoying just this. I feel like I've already learned a lot. And I think I'm throwing in a similar fear that I typically do when I have a new disc. That is this stability, where it's like not understable, but it's not overstable. It's very like dead straight, especially when you throw it like a little slower, which I'm trying to throw it fast and slow. So I think realizing that after 7 holes is gonna help me to just like unleash on it for the next 11, and I'll get a good practice round in. It was really low, so it might have hit some of these mounds. Otherwise, I guess it'd be about pin high. Yeah, pretty close. For as low as I threw it, that thing did go. But I got this. I pulled that right again. I'm pulling a lot of everything's coming out a little right now. It feels weird. I don't even feel that bad in the cold, so it's just poor mechanics right now. Probably not getting in my legs enough. There we go. That's better. Go. Time to shred. Less thinky, more throwy right now. 370 feet to the basket out left. Yep. Less thinky, more throwy. That's the name of the game. Oh, there we go. That's parked. Also, very bad disc to be throwing in these foggy conditions, so I'm sorry about that. A lot of my forehands are leaving me right at this. A lot of my shots, I guess. Maybe this disc, maybe I'm not hitting it hard, not spinning it well. Maybe it just doesn't go quite as far, or I'm less comfortable with it than some other ones, but I keep leaving myself, obviously not super short, but I think I get it to the basket and then I end up about 18 feet short. And so maybe I try to start throwing them 18 to 20 feet long and seeing where that goes. Put it to the short pin, only about 200 feet. I'll try staying still. Maybe my stance holes aren't dialed, but that was way long. What a branch. I didn't hate it out of my hand, but I think it was gonna hit like the top right chain, and that just redirected it right in. You wanna know what I bet it is? We turned around, and now I'm throwing into a tailwind instead of that. Wow, I feel really dumb right now. It's definitely just this disc that seems to excel no wind to tailwind so far. But I think that just means I gotta figure it out on the headwind. That was a hard word to find. 280 feet, tail right to left. I'm gonna try a straight forehand, a little turn. A shot that I could see myself throwing with this disc if it's in the woods. So I'm gonna try to simulate that with a little less danger. That's really good. And I think it got to pin high because it's the tailwind, so I didn't feel like I had to throw that 280. I felt like I threw that easier than the 260-foot shot that I've been 18 feet short on, so wind matters when you're throwing frisbees. The truth, I remember myself on like hole 10 every single round. Okay, this was a little shorter than I thought. Still not bad, about 260, 270, so maybe about as far as I felt like I threw it. 7 to play, not a lot of light. This next one is gonna be one of the trickiest, about 425, head left to right. So I need to throw big, high anhyzer, probably just because of the shape of the hole and the trees that are in the way. Maybe mostly left to right, so I might just try to throw way wide. But I don't, for some reason I have something against like a disc finishing on an anhyzer angle. So I need to work that out in my system personally. So maybe we try here. Short. I think I softened it a little because I didn't want to still pull it over and let it finish on Annie. It hides it out. Ay, ay, ay. Hey, quick reminder, I'll be at Disc South, which is the expo going on March 1st and 2nd in Dallas. So if you want to grab tickets for that, use code Bodanza. It'll get you $3 off. I don't get a kickback from that. I just want to see more people at the expo. Of course, there'll be some fun activities, some panels. Content creator panel is one I'm going to be on, and I'll have some goods to sell. I've talked about it in other videos, but early pre-release 15 each day of my 2025 Tour Series disc. Just got it in hand. Feels amazing. Not gonna be the Tour Series stamp, but the Texas Swing stamp, because I'm also bringing that back. I'll be vending next to the Infinite booth who's releasing the Sultan, their new 12-speed, and use my code to buy tickets, Bodanza. Shout out to everyone who already did, because Ben reached out and said some people did, so thank you for that. And the shot, Might not have been as short as I thought. Might have actually been decent. We'll have one or two more headwind holes, which is good, because I need to get over my phobia of this thing in a headwind. Once again, I just babied it instead of trusting it. And you can't trust it unless you try. That's relationship advice, baby. Oh, dang. That was an interesting drop. All right, birdie streaks come to an end. Time to start a new one. Also, just got a text back from Gannon. He said, sure. So after this round, we'll chat with the man himself. But it won't turn over when you throw it on a slight hyzer because of the wind. Oh, no skip, okay. Playing the long on this one, about 580 straight into a headwind. So hopefully I can get over my little phobia and rip it. I think I want to end up being with this disc so I can throw a little cheeky forehand, a little righter. But I don't want to throw a big turnover, so probably try to instead throw a hyzer flip at the right side instead of letting the disc kind of work its way there. Know that this thing is straight, so I kind of just try to flip it down that right side there. Oh my gosh, when you trust it, it's beautiful. Did I short it again? Big time. Yep. Birdie train's rolling, baby. 255 to the white. We're gonna, again, work on this forehand. Now the wind's gonna be right to lefty. So use that wind and throw it smooth, but really make sure to get it to the basket. There we go. That's beautiful. And I felt like I juiced it, but I circled it. So that's good. Dang, the stamp, oh, that's crazy. Back into the headwind, playing to the basket that's right there. In the shorts, only 290 feet, but it's a little head left to right. I almost want to try this turnover, but that's never a shot I would throw with this disc. I would maybe throw a little hyzer flip. It's like flat to hyzer forehand or spike hyzer backhand. In this headwind with the right to left or left to right, I'm gonna try the flat forehand that doesn't turn over too hard, but stays straight down the corridor. Have to pop it a bit because it's 290 in a headwind. Oh, wow, when you trust it, holy beautiful. Wow, I think that's a little long, and that came out of that was like the best forehand I've thrown in a long time. That felt incredible. Whoa. I can't even tell you how happy I am to throw this thing about 320 in a headwind right now. Like, wow. And for it to be like my line, wow, I'm so ecstatic. Let's go, dude, come on. There's a par 4 here and then a par 3 to finish. I think though, I'm just gonna play this par 4. So the round won't count. The last hole's downhill, slight headwind, but like 280 foot. And then you have to walk back past 17's basket to get up to the cars. And I think we're officially in the teens. Oh, sorry, that zoomed in. Let me make sure. Oh, still 20. Looks like I'll just be a big old baby if I quit now. But I'm still gonna do it. Last hole, I've never eagled. A decent wind. It's actually almost straight tail with maybe a little left to right, maybe. I'm gonna actually try to rip this thing on like another distance line, just this time, instead of into the headwind, like on hole 5 or 6, I'm gonna try it into the correct wind. Get out of it. It is. Okay, that's not crazy, but that was pretty good. Still wanted to drift, but even on the anhyzer and the tailwind, the line I released it on is basically dead straight from where it finished. It still didn't even drift that much. I'll have a long putt at it. I'd throw a driver on this hole anyways, especially in this wind, because the tailwind will drop it a bit going up the hill, and you need the extra speed to help carry. But 470 up the hill, I'll have a really long eagle look, and I think I crested that first hill, which is a pretty big pump to get there. This is a little far for the putt. Maybe try to Ezra Robinson it. No, it's still too far. We'll try to chuck it in. I just don't feel confident with the up or up. Need a little more distance. Stay up. Oh, I shorted it. Dang it. That should be good.
Am I on camera? What's going on?
You're screen recording right now.
Now I'm in a super professional setting.
Where are you in Florida now?
Yes.
I mean, you won the first one. Does basically mean you're not going to lose all year?
Hopefully.
I took your advice that you gave me the other day and just did like one disc round, just 10 speed that I just knew to my bag. What's kind of the reasoning for like one disc rounds in your opinion? Do you still do them, and how often, and like what do you gain from them?
Well, I do them by accident because, like, sometimes the course will just have that, and I'll just throw it every hole because it works.
Yeah.
Like, you know, of course, like Nevin for the Pro Tour Finals last year, like I was throwing my PD on like so many tee shots because you need like a little over 400 feet flat to turn, and I just threw it like every time. And I even had a couple holes where I had it on hyzer release to flat, and so I had like pretty much every line and angle dialed with that disc, and I felt so comfortable. A big thing, obviously, in every sport is just having confidence, and so once you get dialed in with the disc, you have the confidence that you can fully commit to a shot. And that's what I see with people that bag way too many discs, is they don't know what any of them do. And so that's why I say like to go out with a couple discs or even just one disc and throw on every shot, because you'll learn its flip point at like how much speed you need to throw it, if it's gonna flip or fade. Wind is another one. Like there's a couple holes where I remember on tour I have an FD3 and I had like a head left to right wind, and so I knew if I threw it dead flat, it's gonna go pretty much straight, maybe even push right a little bit and finish pretty straight. So like it's knowing different types of winds and different wind speeds and how your disc is affected by that. Like, so like, I mean, there's tons of times where like I use wind to my advantage. Like if I need to like carry a disc further with the right to left, or slow it down with the left to right, or even headwinds and stuff like that, and having the disc go laser straight as like an overstable disc. So like once you finally dial in a bag, that's why I don't bag many discs, because I get dialed with every disc basically.
Yeah. How often do you add discs to the bag? And if you do, is that like the first thing you do? You're like, I need to just go out and just like play with only this disc for a while?
I'll throw it like on a lot of the holes. Usually if I add like a disc, I'll add a disc. Not too, I'm more like replace a disc. Like if a disc gets too beat up, then I'll replace it with something new, but it's the same version of it.
Yeah.
Usually the same exact run if I can get my hands on one. But yeah, I think the perfect bag is like putter, mid-range, fairway, driver, and you have overstable, straight, understable for every single one of those speeds. So that's 12 discs. You have 2 putting putters, so that's 14, and they can carry like, for each speed, you can carry like a utility disc, so it's like 4 more, so you have like 18 discs typically. That's like my ideal bag.
For utility, you're also talking utility understable for like maybe only fairways and drivers?
Yeah, like I have a driver roller and a driver fairway that I pretty much only throw for rollers.
Yeah.
A big thing you see a lot of pros do is they have one of the same mold, and then they have like an overstable version and a straight version. So yeah, like my Viking FD3, if I threw it hard, I could actually get it to like turn a little bit. It would actually move right. Where my Dubert 4 FD3 would only go left no matter what. It's just very overstable. Like you can work every angle with the straight one, and the overstable one you can throw flexes and like stuff like that.
Anything new coming out for you soon?
Well, definitely a Signature Series P2X clap breaker, and I'd be on the lookout for an MD5 signature disc this year.
Ooh. Any plastic that you want to tell the people? Leave it up to the imagination. Let them guess in the comments. Horizon? Horizon what?
And potentially for the putter, a new plastic blend.
Ooh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, man. Good luck in Florida. And
Subscribe to Gannon.
yeah, subscribe to his new channel. He couldn't get monetized on the other one.
Please.
Yeah. Peace.